So we're picking up the story right after the romantic high of Isaac and Rebekah getting married. You might think, okay, Abraham is super old now. Surely he's just going to sit on a porch somewhere and drink iced tea until glory calls him home. Nope. Believe it or not, Abraham gets married again. He marries a woman named Keturah. And remember, this is the guy who thought he was too old for kids a few chapters ago. Well, he proceeds to have 6 more sons with Keturah. The man was clearly taking God's promise to make him a father of many nations, very literally. But Abraham was also a wise old strategist. He knew that Isaac was the child of promise, the one through whom the blessing of God and eventually Jesus would come. He didn't want a Game of Thrones succession battle breaking out after he died. So while he was still alive, Abraham gave gifts to his other sons, sort of a generous severance package, and sent them away to the east. He basically said, I love you guys. Here's some startup capital. Now go build your own empires far away from Isaac. He wanted to make sure Isaac's lane was clear. Finally, at the ripe old age of 175, Abraham breathed his last. The Bible puts it beautifully. He died at a good old age, an old man and full of years. That's the kind of obituary we all want, right? He didn't just live long, he lived full. Then we see a really touching moment. Isaac and Ishmael, the 2 half-brothers who had a very rough, complicated childhood separation, come together to bury their dad. They laid him to rest in the cave of Machpelah, right next to his beloved Sarah. It's a quiet moment of unity in a family history filled with drama. The chapter briefly lists Ishmael's family tree here. Just as God promised, Ishmael became a great nation. He had 12 sons who became 12 princes. But the text also drops a heavy note. They lived in hostility toward all their brothers. Some family feuds don't heal easily. Now back to our main character, Isaac. He's 40 years old when he marries Rebekah. You'd think since his dad had to wait 25 years for a baby, maybe God would cut Isaac some slack and give him kids right away. Wrong. Rebekah is barren. They wait 20 years. Can you imagine the pressure? Hey, Isaac, aren't you the guy whose descendants are supposed to be as numerous as the stars? Your nursery is looking pretty empty. But Isaac does something important. He prays. He pleads with the Lord for his wife, and God, being faithful, answers. Rebekah gets pregnant, but this was not a smooth pregnancy. The babies were literally fighting inside her. It was so bad that Rebekah actually asked God, if this is what pregnancy is like, why is this happening to me? So she inquires of the Lord, and God gives her a prophecy that sets the stage for the rest of the book of Genesis. 2 nations are in your womb. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. Boom. Plot twist. In that culture, the oldest son always got the power and the money. God flipped the script before they were even born. When the delivery day comes, sure enough, it's twin boys. Baby number 1, he comes out red and covered in hair like a garment. Seriously, the kid looked like he was wearing a fur coat. They named him Esau, which sounds like the Hebrew word for hairy. Baby number 2, he comes out holding onto Esau's heel. He's literally trying to pull his brother back so he can get ahead. They named him Jacob, which means he grasps the heel, or idiomatically, deceiver. Talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy with that name, right? The boys grow up, and they couldn't be more different. Esau is a man's man, a skillful hunter. He's always out in the field smelling like dirt and adventure. Isaac loved Esau because Isaac had a taste for wild game. Basically, Esau filled his dad's stomach, so he was the favorite. Jacob was a quiet man. He stayed close to the tents, the indoorsman. He was probably helping with the administration and, crucially, the cooking. Rebekah loved Jacob, so you have a divided house. Dad loves the jock, mom loves the homebody. This is a recipe for disaster. One day, Jacob is cooking a stew. It's a red lentil stew. Probably smelled amazing. Esau comes in from the open country, and he is famished. He's been hunting all day, probably didn't catch anything, and his blood sugar is crashing. He sees Jacob and gasps, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." Now, a good brother would say, "Sure thing, grab a bowl." But Jacob sees leverage. Jacob says, "First, sell me your birthright." Let's pause. The birthright was a huge deal. It meant you got a double portion of the inheritance, and you became the spiritual leader of the family, the priest of the clan. It was the right to carry the promise of Abraham. It was priceless. Esau looks at the stew, he looks at his birthright, and he makes the worst financial decision in history. He says, "Look, I am about to die. What good is the birthright to me?" Real talk, Esau, you were not about to die. You missed lunch. You were just being dramatic and driven by your stomach. But Jacob wants it in writing. Swear to me first. So Esau swore an oath, sold his birthright to Jacob, and grabbed the spoon. The Bible describes it with a brutal, rapid-fire cadence. He ate, he drank, he rose, and he went his way. The chapter ends with a chilling summary. So Esau despised his birthright. And that's how the chapter wraps up. It's a story about patience, prophecy, and priorities. Esau traded a long-term spiritual blessing for a temporary bowl of soup because he couldn't control his immediate appetites. It's a reminder for all of us, don't trade God's best for a quick fix. And as for Jacob, well, he got the birthright, but the way he got it, through manipulation, is going to cause him a world of trouble later on. But that is a story for the next chapter.